You know, if there's one thing about this week's WWE television, it's that people this week have jumped to major conclusions already without realizing who and what we are dealing with. It is WWE we're dealing with. It's WWE that we're watching. Most of the time we think something is going to happen. Most of the time it doesn't. WWE rarely does what makes sense. WWE rarely does what the fans ask. WWE rarely has a storyline just go out there and materialize like we would fantasy book it. They do what they want. They push who they want. And more importantly, they do what they want. The most important thing on WWE television all week is this interview that Paul Heyman did with Renee Young. And I didn't really go in depth on it on Monday Night Raw review because why would I? Brock Lesnar doesn't watch the show. Why should I watch the show with anything having to do with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns if Brock Lesnar himself, the worst Universal Champion of all time, according to Kurt Angle. Yeah, it's a real great way that you hype up your biggest champion, who just so happens to be Brock Lesnar. Worst Universal Champion of all time is what they described. WWE did, Kurt Angle did, management did, Brock Lesnar. I didn't really dissect this sit-down interview because there really is no reason for me to sit down and dissect this interview. It was a Paul Heyman interview. I hear some fucking clowns in the community calling it the greatest promo of all time. I don't know what the fuck you're watching. What are you watching? What made it the greatest of all time? God, I don't know what anybody is thinking nowadays inside the fucking walls of this community. I don't know what you're watching. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what your agenda is. What you are watching is all part of the agenda. I can appreciate the thought and the visual that they tried to present with Paul Heyman. Believe me, I seen it. I loved how he had a scruff face as if he didn't shave for a couple of days. He hasn't shaved since the last time we seen him, which was the Brock Lesnar attack inside the ring after he gave Kurt Angle an F5. I appreciate the tears and the red face and the emotion. Clearly, this was all a Paul Heyman direction. If you think Vince McMahon went into this and thought of this much detail, or if you went into this thinking that WWE management went into this, you know, trying to lay out attention to detail here, you are sadly mistaken. This was not a Vince McMahon directive. This was all done by Paul Heyman. This was all done by Paul Heyman because it's been reported that Paul Heyman has been heavily involved with Brock Lesnar and all storylines concerning Brock Lesnar, so he's going to do what he thinks is best for him and his client. And it's been reported that Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman have been, or more notably Paul Heyman, but I'm sure Brock Lesnar's filled in on everything. Paul Heyman has been working closely with Roman Reigns. So clearly everything is approved by Vince McMahon, but the attention to detail here, I am for certain, is all Paul Heyman. I can appreciate that. I open this up by first saying everyone this week has jumped to conclusions. There was a YouTube video that WWE put on their channel, and it was unaired footage. Unaired footage from this interview that certainly has fueled everybody's conclusion as to what will happen at SummerSlam in the main event. Quote unquote, I would not close the show with this match for multiple reasons, but WWE will make the same mistake that they made at WrestleMania, and it's going to be an utter failure. I would not close SummerSlam with this main event, but this is fueling rumors of what could be the finish of Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. I want to play this footage for you, just in case you guys didn't see it or you don't really pay attention and you are subscribed to the WWE YouTube channel, but you didn't care to click on it because you're just tired, like I am, of all this bullshit. I want to play this for you. It's going to go into what we've seen on Raw, and then the last bit of it is unaired footage that they did not air on Monday Night Raw, but conveniently waited to upload this to YouTube. So this is the unaired final moment of Paul Heyman's Raw interview from this past Monday with Renee Young.
SummerSlam, this is my final question to you. Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship, who's going to walk away the winner?
I've known Brock Lesnar for 16 years. I've been through every up and down that he has accomplished and that he has suffered. And I've never seen Brock Lesnar like this. I've never seen him more driven. I've never seen him more focused. And I know this isn't a word we like to use around here. I've never seen him more violent. Against this Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns doesn't stand a chance.
He sits there contemplating.
Wait, you were just going to say something, unless what? Paul, unless what, though? Unless Roman Reigns does what?
That was it. He didn't even finish the word unless. Unless. And then took the microphone off. People are jumping to conclusions based off this. I'm going to tell you right here, right now, I've been pushing for it for 4 years. Roman Reigns turning heel is the absolute best thing that they can do here. That's the only thing I want to see. That is the only thing that would save this main event outside of a Braun Strowman cash-in. WWE reportedly wants to do Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. I'm going to report on this weekend. WWE reportedly wants to do Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman as its main program for the Universal Championship. We've seen this already. We've seen this done already, but not for the Universal Championship. WWE is not going to go into this with both guys being a baby face. Roman Reigns is a fake baby face that people want heel, and Braun Strowman, everybody wants Braun Strowman to be a babyface. He is a monster. He is a babyface. They've transformed him into a babyface. He's been pushed as a babyface. You're not going to turn Braun Strowman into a heel against Roman Reigns. It will not work. If you do that, then both men are going to be miscast and portrayed in the wrong way. You, at that point, are forcing something that should not be. That's all I will say on that. Roman Reigns needs to be heel. Yes, he needs to be a heel in the same way that I told you it needs to be done. The Authors of Pain fantasy booking scenario is the best way to go about it. Everybody's jumping to conclusions on Monday Night Raw because of what Paul Heyman said here. Unless what? The only way that Brock Lesnar could be beaten is by his handler? Is that what you're jumping to conclusions on? Is Paul Heyman going to join Roman Reigns? Is Paul Heyman going to join Braun Strowman? Because there's only two scenarios here. Lesnar's dropping the title, and I won't even be so keen on saying that after what WWE has done. I'm not putting any stock in WWE having Lesnar drop the title at SummerSlam. We thought he was dropping the title at WrestleMania. We thought he was dropping the title in Saudi Arabia. Here we are in August, going into the fall, and he's still Universal Champion. I would not be too quick to judge WWE at SummerSlam. For all we know, Brock Lesnar could retain the Universal Championship, go to the UFC, capture the UFC Heavyweight Championship. We'd still be in the same fucking scenario in January, February, and then he wins both titles and cross-promotion, the heaviest it's ever been between the WWE and UFC, takes place. Because it's been reported that Brock Lesnar wants to do both WWE and UFC. So if he's open to doing both, whereas years ago he wanted to just concentrate on one, the idea of Brock Lesnar walking out of SummerSlam with the title is still very likely. I would not judge WWE so quickly on doing the title change. The other scenarios would be Roman Reigns turning heel, winning the championship, aligning himself with Paul Heyman, or Braun Strowman comes in and he aligns himself with Paul Heyman, thus making Braun Strowman a heel in the process with Paul Heyman because Paul Heyman's a villain, and then they can put him against Roman Reigns, who is the quote-unquote babyface. And Roman won't even be aligned with Paul Heyman. There's a lot of scenarios here. But people are jumping to conclusions thinking that Paul Heyman is going to betray Brock Lesnar and join Roman Reigns and help him win the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. I ask you why. Why would you do that? Does Paul Heyman align himself with Brock Lesnar when he comes back to the WWE? I better see it. I better see that this relationship is intact. Why would you take Paul Heyman away from Brock Lesnar? They are a perfect pairing. Just like Paul Ellering was a perfect pairing with the Authors of Pain. Look at what happened to the Authors of Pain. If you took Zelina Vega away from Andrade Cien Almas, is he going to be the same that we've seen him all year? Are you going to like him just as much as you like him now without Zelina Vega? Probably not. Probably not. It's one of those things that we've just become accustomed to seeing. You ever watch the movie Big Daddy with Adam Sandler? One of my favorite Adam Sandler comedies. I loved it. Some people didn't like it. I liked it. Got the delivery guy there, right? You got him there. He's got the funny mustache and he's sitting on the couch. You know, Sandler wants him to babysit the child. And he's like, it'd be great. It'd be like tuna fish and meatball, or meatball and tuna fish, right? And then Adam Sandler looks at him, meatball and tuna fish? What the fuck planet you living on? It's not going to work. It's not going to work if you have Brock Lesnar away from Paul Heyman. It's not going to look right. It's a perfect pairing. Now, WWE wants to take Paul Heyman away from Brock Lesnar, potentially so that Paul Heyman is on television. And maybe they align himself, or they align him and himself, or he aligns himself with a new client. But who's to say Paul Heyman even wants to be on TV? Who's to say WWE is going to utilize Paul Heyman to the maximum of, capabilities of what Paul Heyman can do? Paul Heyman could really drive a better Monday Night Raw with his creative mind. Are you really going to utilize him if you keep him on television? Who's to say he even wants anybody else? Who's to say if you put him with anybody else, it's going to work? It only will work if you allow it to work in the right scenario. But even at that point, I don't even want Paul Heyman away from Brock Lesnar. It's a perfect pairing. If Brock Lesnar, more than likely going to be at WrestleMania, you ain't going to have a WrestleMania without Brock Lesnar. WWE loves to throw money at all these part-time guys to get them on WrestleMania. They want to make WrestleMania feel big. Can you see WrestleMania without Brock Lesnar right now after he admittedly, openly said that he wants to work with WWE and UFC? He's going to maximize the shit out of both Dana White and Vince McMahon for everything that they want to throw at him. He's going to work UFC when he wants to work UFC. And when he's not doing a SummerSlam or WrestleMania, he's going to work UFC. He's going to make money in WWE working their biggest events. You ain't going to take Paul Heyman away from Brock Lesnar. It's not going to make sense. Everybody's jumping to conclusions. Don't be too quick to jump to conclusions. I still stand by what I said months ago. If WWE wants to maximize and push talent, I'd have Roman Reigns lose. I'd have Roman Reigns lose to Brock Lesnar. I have the cash in. I'd have the cash in on Monday night with Strowman and Lesnar, because Lesnar's already scheduled to appear on Monday night, so why not? Why not do the cash-in on Monday Night Raw? You create such a buzz by doing that on Monday night. Because fans are already expecting a fucking disaster at SummerSlam, so why not give them a disaster? Do the cash-in from Strowman on Monday. Roman is a failure again at SummerSlam. Strowman cashes in. We don't see anything from Roman on Monday. Roman's in the corner hiding his head because he's a failure. Strowman cashes in on Lesnar on Monday Night Raw. Roman reveals himself and devised this plan overnight. And you get him on Monday Night Raw. He don't even need Paul Heyman. He don't need Paul Heyman. He's got the Authors of Pain. He's got Akam and Razor. His new Shield. He's got a new Shield formed. That way you get Roman playing the fucking heel. How many times I gotta fucking tell you this? How many times I gotta make your fucking dicks hard with my fucking creative genius? This is gonna work. You don't think people would pop for that? You don't think people would pop for that? Roman coming out, attacking Braun Strowman after he wins the Money in the Bank with Akam and Razor. Akam and Razor are doing fucking jack shit at this point because you fucking killed them. They need a mouthpiece. They need a mouthpiece. And that mouthpiece could be Roman. I don't mind Roman if he's going to act the way he needs to act, being portrayed the right way. He could be their mouthpiece. He could be their muscle. He could be the leader. You want the Roman Empire to be a legit thing? There you go. There's your fucking empire. There is your empire. And then when Dean Ambrose turns heel, boom, you can put him with Roman and the Authors of Pain. Boom, you got a new Shield. A better Shield. And then Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Seth Rollins could come on in and take on those four. There you go. Paul Heyman should not be stripped away from Brock Lesnar. People are jumping to conclusions already based on what they've seen here and what they heard here. Don't jump to conclusions. This is WWE we're talking about. They never do what we think they're going to do. Every time you think they're going to do something, they do the opposite. Just for that shock factor. I'm not falling for it again. I'm not even going with Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. I'm going with Brock Lesnar. Now, when I go with Lesnar, they'll probably do Roman Reigns winning the championship. But that's the way it needs to be done. That's the way it needs to be done. Why would you put Paul Heyman with anybody else but Brock Lesnar? When Brock Lesnar comes back to the WWE, he's going to be Paul Heyman-less? That doesn't make sense to me at all. WWE could align Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman and then have the Authors of Pain with them. A new fucking Heyman stable. All Paul Heyman guys. The Roman Empire. And then what do you do with Brock Lesnar? Is he going to just come back as a babyface? Is he going to come back on his own without... You know, what did they do when Paul Heyman turned on Brock Lesnar when he lined himself with the Big Show? Didn't feel right. Didn't feel right at all. It was garbage. And then Paul Heyman just came back with Brock Lesnar anyway, after all that was done. I don't know how you would operate it. I don't know how you would do it, but that's what I'm thinking. I would have Roman lose at SummerSlam. Because the initiative that you're driving here is that this is a violent Brock Lesnar. This is a Brock Lesnar that nobody's ever seen before, supposedly. I've seen a more violent Brock Lesnar. His run with the WWE Championship when he beat John Cena in 10 minutes. 16 suplexes to Suplex City. This Brock Lesnar ain't more violent than that Brock Lesnar. This is a pussycat compared to that Brock Lesnar. But if you're going to drive the initiative around WWE saying that this is the most violent Brock Lesnar, and then in the same breath say he's the worst Universal Champion, how the fuck does that make Roman Reigns look good at all? Yeah, he's the worst Universal Champion of all time. So, what does that mean for Roman if he's going to beat Brock Lesnar, who's the worst Universal Champion of all time? Roman Reigns is inheriting nothing. He's inheriting nothing. I wouldn't want my number one guy beating the worst Universal Champion of all time. So what does that make Roman? That makes Roman a subpar champion by default, just by look. You can't be wording superstars and describing superstars in that way. I think, out of everything that I've heard so far, what I brought to the table for SummerSlam is the best way to go about it. Roman needs to be a heel. And after WWE reportedly wants to do Strowman versus Reigns after SummerSlam for the Universal Championship. There's no better way to go into that than with Strowman as a babyface and Roman as a heel. We need to get Braun Strowman back on the level of being a monster. Whatever he's doing with Shanti and Kevin Owens is not making him look good whatsoever. It's a fucking joke. We need Braun Strowman to be at odds as a babyface. Akam and Razor, 2-on-1 against Braun Strowman. Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. You know, we could get Strowman, Rollins, and Ambrose for the time being against Reigns and the Authors of Pain. You know, it's going to enhance everybody. Everybody is going to feel the fucking positivity running out of that fucking feud. Something needs to be done here to get Monday Night Raw a shot of adrenaline. Right now, Monday Night Raw in its current state is complete garbage. If you were going to go into SummerSlam with Roman Reigns winning the title and then boom, that's it, who's going to stay and watch Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam? Especially with Monday Night Football coming. Come on. You got to give these people something. You got to give these people a reason to watch. A reason to watch Monday Night Raw is not seeing Roman Reigns parade around with the Universal Championship. That is the most boring fucking scenario I think I could ever conceive. You need to go into this with a fucking dash of creativity. If you are not going to be creative about SummerSlam, which right now is absolutely fucking god-awful. I've had goons fucking argue with me on social media about, are you serious about your SummerSlam t-shirt? That's exactly what it is. It's a scam! There's nothing exciting about SummerSlam. All I hear people talking about is the G1. SummerSlam. More people are excited about TakeOver than they are about SummerSlam. It's a fucking joke. I feel no pity, no remorse for you fucking idiots who spend money to go to SummerSlam. At the end of this thing, I'm going to sit right here and tell you, well, I told you so. I told you so. You wasted your money on absolute garbage. You would have been better off giving me your fucking money. This is a very important week for WWE. A very important week. And WWE didn't do anything on Monday night to make you excited about SummerSlam. Everything else feels third, fourth, fifth rate compared to what they're doing with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. That's what happens when you put all your eggs in one basket and then neglect everything else on Monday Night Raw. That does not make a good show. And it shows, it feels when you watch Monday Night Raw. You feel for reaching for the remote control because you don't give a flying fuck about what happens with anybody else. And that's a sad state of affairs when you guys got Elias and Rollins and Ziggler and McIntyre. Everybody right now on Monday Night Raw is feeling the effect of neglect. Because that's what WWE's done. They made you and tried to fucking brainwash you. They make you try and care when nobody cares. The agenda is in full effect. And it's all for Roman. It's all for Roman. SmackDown Live, on the other hand, is a completely different story. We're getting multiple stories that we are invested in. And it shows. WWE is just writing better stories on SmackDown Live. It's not a great show by any stretch of the imagination, but WWE is doing much better on SmackDown Live than they are on Monday Night Raw. Randy Orton, and I don't want to fucking stroke my own ego or stroke my own cock here, but it's very, very coincidental that I, just a week ago, mentioned something about Randy Orton and being the heel that he's portraying is going to be the heel that's going to turn children's heads away from the TV. He's going to be the heel that takes or has their parents take the children away from the television because of how violent he's going to be. And he put that in his promo. He came out and outwardly said, that's the type of heel I'm going to be. I'm going to be so violent and vicious to your idols that I'm going to make you turn your head away from the television. You're not going to script something like that after watching me say the same thing just a week ago. That's more than just coincidence there. You know? He could have worded that any fucking way he wanted, but he worded it the same way that I said on Tuesday. Randy Orton right now, on the main roster, because Ciampa right now is godlike. On the main roster, it's Randy Orton and Samoa Joe. Randy Orton and Samoa Joe right now are the two best heels on the main roster. Randy Orton right now is acting brilliantly. Brilliantly. And I mentioned this on Tuesday when I did the review. If Randy Orton continues on this road the way he's going right now, it's going to be very difficult for anyone to want to see him lose. This is the type of heel we need against AJ Styles. The Nakamura feud fell flat on its face. AJ Styles is that babyface underdog. He's great at what he does, but I think he thrives better in that underdog role. If Samoa Joe is going to test AJ Styles at SummerSlam, this is a great first test. And then with Randy Orton doing what he's doing, he'll eliminate Jeff Hardy. Then he goes to AJ Styles. That's going to be fantastic. Fantastic. I can't tell you how many people thought my idea of a stable was fucking brilliant. You know? You had Legacy with Randy Orton, Ted DiBiase Jr., and Cody Rhodes. You had Evolution with Triple H, Randy Orton, Batista, Ric Flair. Randy Orton now is at a state where he is a veteran, a leader of that company. Can you imagine him taking Samoa Joe under his wing? Can you imagine him taking Bobby Roode and Almas and just coming up with a stable name, and all four of those guys on SmackDown Live would run shit? That would be fantastic. Can't tell you how many people love that idea of pairing those four together. You know, I could see Randy Orton coming out wearing a nice snappy suit. Samoa Joe looks great in a suit. Almas, we know, looks great in a suit. Bobby Roode, fucking glorious Bobby Roode. Get him back to his fucking nasty heel-like ways. That's a fucking money stable right there. That's going to be my stable if I do WWE 2K19 career mode or universe mode, rather. It's going to be a stable of mine, you know? Creativity. Randy Orton right now is at a level that if he continues on this path, nobody will be able to touch him. And he hasn't even done the RKO. He won't give you the RKO because he knows he gets a pop. And the reason why he's the way he is right now is because of us. And he won't give us what we want to see, the RKO. You know how great of a heel that is? Randy Orton should never be babyface ever again. We don't know what Randy Orton's doing at SummerSlam. Right now it's Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I'd be shocked if Randy Orton's not thrown into that mix and it's made it into a triple threat match. You know? But I'm loving what's going on right now. Calculated, cerebral, vicious. Randy Orton's playing a great fucking heel right now, and it's very difficult to not want to see him continue this at the level he's doing. Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, I like the personality here of the feud. I like the personal level of the feud. I love the way Joe cut his promo. That was excellent stuff, making it personal. Saying that AJ put the WWE Championship above all else that's important in his life, his family. How when AJ gets into SummerSlam, his family is going to be cheering for Samoa Joe because they want their daddy. His wife wants her husband back home. How he's a failure to his kids. How he's a failure to his wife because he's opted to take the WWE Championship and elevate it and live on the road and be away from his family. How he put all his love and his passion into this one thing that Joe could easily take away from him. This one thing that he put all his love and passion in that Joe will take away from him, and then he will send him packing home to his family, empty, regretting all the mistakes that he made. I loved that promo. Loved that promo. AJ Styles showed fire and intensity the way he needed to in his rebuttal on Tuesday night. I'm more excited about this feud than I am the entirety of Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles. You needed this to be a personal level because these guys are no strangers to one another. AJ Styles even made mention that Joe knows AJ Styles' wife personally. They've dined together. They've been at each other's homes. They've celebrated holidays together. They traveled together. They worked together. They battled together. There's no other way to go about this than making it personal at SummerSlam. And if I'm booking SummerSlam, I ain't opening up Roman Reigns, or I ain't closing Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. I'm going Styles and Joe for the WWE Championship. You're going to have people sit there for 5 fucking hours, and then you're going to give them Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns to close the night? You are asking for just fucking a volatile crowd. WWE's going to do it because they think they know everything. Charlotte Becky is the other storyline on SmackDown Live that I'm just vaguely intrigued by. Now, we all made mention that Charlotte should not be getting a championship match. She doesn't need to be in a championship match at every fucking pay-per-view. That's the one thing I ranted on 2 weeks ago. How are you going to come back after being a month and a half away because you have breast issues, and then you're going to be thrown into a title match by doing absolutely nothing? Absolutely nothing. Again, if you ask me, Asuka's streak should have never been broken. What the fuck did it accomplish? Nothing. Look at Asuka now and look at who you gave the streak to. You gave the streak to Charlotte. She lost to fucking Carmella twice, and then she was away for a month and a half. What the fuck did the streak accomplish by being broken? You did nothing with it. Another fucking great detail to a character you ruined. Now look at Charlotte, look at Asuka. Where are we? Nowhere. Asuka's not even on SummerSlam, and Charlotte's getting an undeserved title shot just because she's Charlotte Flair. Is there political bullshit with Charlotte? Absolutely, because her last name is Flair. But I'm trying to look at it positively. With Charlotte in the match, it becomes a better match. Carmella may look less cringe in a triple threat match. We get the interaction between Becky and Charlotte. More than likely, what we are getting coming out of this is Charlotte and Becky leading into Evolution in a one-on-one match. I've stated before that I think Charlotte would operate better as a heel. And I've been brought to my senses. I want Charlotte to be a heel, but I don't think WWE is going to do that because of the PR going into Evolution. They want Charlotte Flair as the babyface, the likable personality that could go on television and do this and that and hype everything up and be a face for the division as a babyface. But then again, some people that talk to me are saying, JD, Stephanie McMahon's a heel. And she is at the forefront of WWE doing PR and going out there and doing the anti-bullying campaign and doing charities and this and that. Yes, I understand that. So then if that's the case, then I would make Charlotte a heel. Because I don't want to see Becky as a heel. I want to cheer for Becky. I want to get behind Becky. I don't want Becky to turn heel because she's feeling neglected. But I do think Charlotte being in this match makes it a better match. I don't think Charlotte deserves a championship match, but I'm going to give it a pass right now. A slight pass, because I think the story that they're telling is something that I think A, should be done with Sasha and Bayley, and B, I like where they're going with this. Maybe Charlotte turning heel and then Becky getting retribution, whether she wins the title at SummerSlam or she wins it at Evolution. Because going into Ronda Rousey, which I'm assuming WWE is going to do at WrestleMania, going into a match with Ronda Rousey, one of them has to be a heel. I want heel Charlotte. I want bitch Charlotte. I want Charlotte to channel the best her father ever did against Ronda Rousey. I don't want to see this fucking, oh, I respect you. I love what you've done for the evolution of the women. No, fuck that. Fuck that. I want Charlotte to go in there wearing her robes. I want Charlotte going into there claiming she's the best that's ever did it for the women. I want Charlotte going in there saying, I don't give a fuck who you are. This is my world. You ain't coming in here and you ain't stealing my spotlight. I'm a Flair. You're a nobody. If WWE doesn't do that with Charlotte going into WrestleMania, then you're fucking it up already. So you might as well just get it out of the way now and make Charlotte a heel. I don't want to see none of this fucking, oh my God, I love you and I appreciate you and I respect you. No, we don't need that. We don't need that. This is the women's revolution, okay? We got enough of this bullshit for the next 2.5 months. I gotta fucking be cringe just reading the participants in the Mae Young Classic. Oh my God, this is a dream and women's wrestling is so great. You don't need to say it's great every fucking tweet without, that fucking nauseating shit, with all that nauseating shit behind it. I know it's great. I love the Mae. I can't wait for the fucking Mae Young Classic, but I don't need to hear how great it is and all this other fucking bullshit that we see on Monday and Tuesday nights. Come on. You're gonna make everybody sick of this fucking women's movement before we even get to Evolution. But the story being told with Charlotte and Becky is one that I am invested in, and I hope it works out the same exact way that I just described it to you. Charlotte wins the championship, turns heel on Becky. Becky wins at Evolution, and we got Becky winning the Women's Championship, and then Charlotte can concentrate on winning the Royal Rumble because Ronda Rousey more than likely is going to beat Alexa Bliss. That's the only outcome for that match. We don't need no fucking bullshit. We don't need no charades. Ronda goes in there and wins the championship, and boom. She holds the championship, hopefully legitimizes the Raw Women's Division going into the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season, and then we get Charlotte versus Ronda at WrestleMania. You want WrestleMania to be big? That's the biggest match that you could do. Simple as that. Anything else that happened on SmackDown Live? The Tag Team Championship situation. Quickly, I mentioned this on SmackDown Live Review. A lot of people are still wondering why the New Day won over the Bar. Listen, none of those teams are interesting to me at all against the Bludgeon Brothers because the Bludgeon Brothers themselves are not interesting at all. I was going with the Bar because it's the only matchup that we haven't seen yet. And I think Sheamus and Cesaro against Luke Harper and Eric Rowan could actually offer something that is different. And you know what? As far as tag team wrestling goes, with those 4 types of personalities, physical. I really think they could have done a very physical match with those 4. But WWE went with the New Day. Why? Because WWE wants to go with the babyface team of the New Day. WWE wants to have the New Day with another title reign to add to their record. They want the New Day to have the most reigns for any tag team in the history of the WWE. We've reported that months and months and months ago, and WWE seems to be on that initiative. With the New Day winning the tag team championships again, I would much rather have the New Day versus the Bar on SmackDown Live than the Bludgeon Brothers versus the Bar on SmackDown Live, or the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers on SmackDown Live. The Bludgeon Brothers are at a point right now where WWE neglected them. They are a dead team. They have no momentum whatsoever. This is what you get for not putting them in a feud coming out of WrestleMania. They sat, and they sat with nothing to do. And the only thing that you gave them to do was Kane and Daniel Bryan. And that lasted 1 show. It had no meaning behind it. It was all forced. And now they have nothing to do going into SummerSlam. So what you're going to do with them is take the titles off of them. You're going to push them. You're going to give them some type of personality. You know, the hammers and the masks are one thing. These guys need to come out and speak to the crowd. New Day versus the Bar is where I see WWE going with the tag team division. And from there, maybe we get some competitive tag team wrestling. Maybe we get Sanity thrown into the mix against the New Day. Maybe we get Sanity versus the Usos. Maybe we get Sanity versus the Bar. I don't mind those matches on SmackDown Live, but WWE wasn't going to do a heel versus a heel team at SummerSlam. There'd be no momentum going into that. That's why they did the New Day. Babyface versus heels, and then I think coming out of SummerSlam, the New Day versus the Bar is where it's at. Especially if they give us what we seen on SmackDown Live, I'm all for that. That was a great tag team match. And it makes me wonder why we don't see tag team wrestling like that on the main roster. NXT. Another thing in WWE's weekly programming this week that people are jumping to conclusions on. I'm going to say this outright because everybody came to me and said, "No, JD, you're an idiot, man. It's Lars Sullivan, man." I'm not saying it can't be Lars Sullivan, but people are pinpointing Lars Sullivan in the back of this exclusive footage that they aired. Right? There's 2 videos that went up on WWE's YouTube page. One that filmed the original attack with Regal finding it out, and then from another cameraman's perspective, after Regal had found out what happened to Aleister Black. People are pinpointing Lars Sullivan in the back wearing a yellow shirt and red trunks as he's just roaming around the background by himself. Does Lars Sullivan mingle with anybody else regularly? No. He's not going to be mingling in the parking lot. He's not going to be sitting down at a fucking table with Candice LeRae or Lacey Evans. You fucking idiots. Lars Sullivan, yes, could have done it. He certainly has a motive. Aleister Black broke his jaw. That's all we need. But Lars Sullivan doesn't play into the plans moving forward. I told you time and time again, Lars Sullivan got a shot at Aleister Black because they wanted to do a trial and error, and there was no one else for Aleister Black at the time. Lars Sullivan will not be thrown back into the main event scene right now. There are too many guys right now that are well beyond a Lars Sullivan. Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, I'd even go EC3, Ricochet. Lars Sullivan right now is going to need his work. He's going to need to work his way back up. He didn't attack Aleister Black. Neither did Johnny Gargano. There's no reason for Johnny Gargano to attack Aleister Black. You got to follow the story. You got to follow what you see on television. Aleister Black kicked Johnny Gargano's face off with a black mass. Aleister Black said, yes, Johnny, the only reason why Ciampa is the champion is because of you. Johnny Gargano was then interviewed saying, I deserve what Aleister Black did to me, but I'm going to work my way back and do what I need to do and take that title off of Tommaso Ciampa. So why would he go and attack Aleister Black when he admittedly said, I deserved to be attacked by Aleister Black? It's my fault. He's owning up to his mistakes already. So why would Gargano go against his character and attack Aleister Black for no reason? There's only two people that did this. One, Ciampa himself, because he was seen hugging and talking to his title away from the scene. And Ciampa has a reason, because it was his mistake that this triple threat match was even announced in the first place. So take him out and do Johnny one-on-one, because he's beat Johnny before. There's no reason for Ciampa to doubt he could beat Johnny again. Or it's somebody that has ties to both Ciampa and Gargano, and it's someone who's been pushed on television lately for whatever reason, and someone who Mauro Ranallo stated just on Wednesday that this guy would do anything to get back into the championship picture. I'm going here with Cassius Ohno. And the reason why I'm going with Cassius Ohno is, A, it's different. Cassius Ohno has been there in matches with Ciampa during this entire ordeal. He was there standing side by side with Candice LeRae as they both watched Johnny being carted off in a fucking ambulance. Cassius Ohno has been I wouldn't say a pivotal part of this storyline, but he's been a face. He's been a face, a friendly face in this entire storyline. You know? Who's to say that he didn't attack Aleister Black to help Ciampa? We're going to need some type of fuck finish. They announced a last man standing match. It's easy for WWE to have both men not make the 10 count. But then how does that guarantee Johnny another match? Johnny don't even belong in this match to begin with. Johnny's only there because of William Regal including him in the match. Johnny shouldn't even be here. So maybe Cassius Ohno takes Johnny out and he helps Tommaso Ciampa win. So then at that point, you do two things. Number one, you get Cassius Ohno in the main event scene. He's 38 years old. What are you doing with Cassius Ohno? You already told me that he wants to do anything he can to get back in the championship picture. At 38 years old, the time is now or never. Aleister Black is going to be gone. At that point, you get Cassius Ohno to team with Tommaso Ciampa. Johnny Gargano right now is feeling indifference from the NXT universe. So if Johnny is fucked over because of Tommaso Ciampa enlisting Cassius Ohno now on his side, that's going to have the people go right back to Johnny and feel all the hatred go right back towards Tommaso Ciampa and Cassius Ohno. Johnny, at that point, would then be the one who's fucked over because right now it's just him and Ciampa. So you need to get the babyface pendulum swinging back to Johnny Gargano's side. Cassius Ohno could easily do that by aligning himself with Tommaso Ciampa. Then when Aleister Black comes back, I'm not ready for Aleister Black to be called up to the main roster. Do you want to see him called up to the main roster? Do you want to see him on Monday Night Raw? I don't. Knowing them, they fuck his whole gimmick up. No casket, no coming up from the stage like he's fucking The Undertaker. No smoke, no candles. Fuck him. I don't want to see him anywhere near the main roster. I'd actually wait. And now that this unfortunate injury happened, I don't want to see him go anywhere. I want to see him get back into the mix of things when he comes back. And that would be great. Johnny and Aleister teaming up against Ciampa and Ohno? Can't ask for that. Can't ask for anything better. Can we get matches between... We could get matches between Black and Ohno. We could get matches between Black and Ciampa. Maybe Black and Gargano. Because Black ain't going to come back and be like, yo, old buddy with Gargano. I want my title shot, motherfucker. You got to go through me if you want to get another shot at Ciampa. It all makes sense. Throwing Cassius Ohno into that mix makes perfect sense. It's not Lars. It's not Johnny who attacked Aleister Black. There's only two people. And there's no reason why nobody in that entire fucking thing didn't see this happen. And I gotta commend WWE for doing this whodunit, Where's Waldo type gimmick. You know? I feel like I need to call fucking Columbo or Perry Mason to come figure this one out, because nobody knows what the fuck is going on. But I'll tell you what, Tommaso Ciampa walked away talking to his fucking title like Bob Backlund did in 1994. He won the fucking WWF title at the Survivor Series, beating Bret Hart. Talking to himself, talking to his fucking hands as he's just fucking turning into a psycho right before our very eyes. But they did interview Cassius Ohno. They did walk by Cassius Ohno. Cassius, did you see what happened? He took a very long pause before he actually said anything. I want you guys to go back and watch that. He took a very long pause to answer. No, I didn't see nothing. You know? And with this knockout artist gimmick, it fits the narrative quite perfectly, if you ask me. Someone came to me and said, JD, the elbow, the rolling elbow that Cassius Ohno does is called the Dream Crusher. Cassius Ohno could single-handedly crush the dream of Johnny Gargano. I like it, man. You ain't going to sell me on anybody else. I'm going with Cassius Ohno. Tommaso Ciampa is too just plain. It's too ordinary. You know, Lars Sullivan, I don't want to see Lars Sullivan in this fucking storyline. You got to give me somebody new, fresh, exciting, somebody that has a fucking reason to be there. All signs point to Cassius Ohno. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. That is your weekend review right there. NXT was good, you know. Anything else that happened on NXT, you know, Ricochet and Adam Cole, everything is lining up beautifully for TakeOver. Everything is lining up beautifully. I wish the same could be said for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, but regardless of that, I am going to go over this big news about Roman Reigns finally turning heel. Finally turning it. There's legitimate news on this. It is being discussed, as always. And there's no reason for it not to be the top story, because there's really no news this weekend, 1 week away from SummerSlam. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to go over everything else that you need to know right here on Off the Script. Don't go anywhere. This is episode 234, part number 1, to start your weekend off the right way, man. This is Off the Script. We're going to hit the intro, and I'll see you guys in just a little bit.
Oh, jeez.
I knew he was threatened by LAX. I've been telling you, Ben. I've been telling you he's been threatened. What a dastardly, cowardly attack. Look at this. Charles and Alex Mason beating LAX with their own titles.
Off this shitty fucking product by coming on here and speaking the fucking goddamn truth about this fucking filth. That I can book a better show taking a fucking dump after eating my fucking Chipotle
chorizo with extra cheese!
I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. Have I ever? Of course not.
WWE's great, man. Fuck you, Japan, and Okada.
Delete!
What is it, Vince? Can I suck your dick? What is it, Vince?
And this is the #1 fucking podcast.
Right here on YouTube.com! This
Is off the script. Oh man, I loved that call at House of Glory's last show, man. That was Temperature Rising. That was LAX, the Impact World Tag Team Champions, who are also the House of Glory World Tag Team Champions. They were attacked after they had their own version of the Puerto Rican Day Parade. That was actually the weekend of the Puerto Rican Day Parade that took place and takes place every year here in New York City. And they had somewhat of a yes movement type thing going on where they invited fans into the ringside area and everybody was partying and dancing and having a good time. The Masons, Charles and Alex Mason, out of nowhere with a dastardly sneak attack on LAX, wanting those tag team championships, man. I actually had the microphone off. I was scrambling to get the fucking thing turned on because I don't look at the script. I don't look at the script when they ask me, do you want to know what's going on with the show? I'm like, nope, just give me a list of matches and what's going to happen. And I want to go into it blind. I want to go into it because of things like that happening. You're going to get a genuine reaction. Now, if I read a script that said, well, the Masons are going to attack LAX after a big celebration in the ring, the reaction that I gave wouldn't have been the reaction I gave. So I like going into it blind. But I don't even think that was on the fucking sheet. To be honest with you, I didn't know that was happening. I was scrambling to get the microphone turned on, and it ended up being really fucking good, man. I wanted to show you guys that because this coming Friday, we're back in the NYC Arena, High Intensity 7. And if you guys aren't coming to the show, you better come to the show, man, because for the first time ever, and this ain't WWE, I'm not giving you first time evers, they're going to make you cringe. For the first time ever, JD is going to be working with Monster. He will be there. We're going to be hosting a pre-show right before bell time at 7 p.m. Meet and greet is 5. We'll probably be doing the pre-show from 5:30 to 6:30. It is going to be awesome, and he's going to be my special guest, and we're going to tear the arena down, man. It's going to be fucking awesome. First, second, and third row seats are all sold out. It's all standing room only. So you guys better hurry, man. Get your tickets, HOGWrestling.net. We are expecting a near sellout for this massive event. Sami Callihan's going to be defending his House of Glory Crown Jewel Championship against Low Key. We have Austin Aries issuing an open challenge as he defends the Impact. Yes, you heard me correctly, the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. And we have a no ropes match between the Amazing Red as he defends the House of Glory World Championship against Anthony Gangone. And if you guys are familiar with no ropes matches, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, there's no ropes. Anything goes, and it's going to be absolutely fucking brutal. So you guys do not want to miss this, man. HOGWrestling.net. Please come on out to House of Glory on August 17th. That is this coming Friday. It's going to be a great, great show. The other thing I really want to push, man, is the t-shirts are now on sale. Thank you to everyone who ordered t-shirts, man, so far. Selling very, very well. Summer Scam t-shirts now on sale at Barber Shop Window. Do not go this year without your Summer Scam t-shirts, man. It is going to be fucking awesome. I can't wait for you guys to show it off. If you're going to be doing a meet and greet, if you're going to be showing up to the meet and greet, whether I'm in New York City, and then in a couple of weeks I'll be in Atlantic City for this standalone wrestling convention that is going to be happening at the Claridge. I will be there. And I'll be in Chicago. So I'll be all over the place this last couple of weeks for the summer, man. Make sure you guys get your Summer Scam t-shirts. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. And if you go to the website and enter coupon code BSHOP20, you're going to save 20% off your purchase, man. It not only comes in black, but it also comes in baby blue with black trim. And it's a take on the old school SummerSlam logo that we seen in the 90s, man. So make sure you guys go get it. I love it. I ordered myself one. It should be here within a couple of days, and I'll be sporting it around on the podcast next weekend. So if you guys want your t-shirts, man, barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Follow me on Twitter, at JDFROMNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. We are nearing 96,000. Getting up there pretty fucking fast. That would leave us 4,000 away for the silver play button and 100,000. If you guys missed anything that I uploaded this past week, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Off the Script Extra went live. I got some Call of Duty Black Ops 4 live commentaries. I got 20-minute videos, 2 of them. So it's 40 minutes in total if you guys want to see unadulterated rage as I beast on the Call of Duty Black Ops 4 beta. It's all on the channel right now. Everything you need is linked in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of your screen. Thank you guys so very much for all your support. If you guys want to support the podcast, you guys have been blowing me away with the support on Patreon, man. Patreon.com/JD4MNY206. Never ask it of you. If you guys want to donate and pledge to the podcast and the channel, it's all on you, man. It's there if you want to do it. Thank you so very much for all the support. I did mention that we were going to talk about it just briefly to get on into the podcast where we hit the news and rumors. WWE is turning somebody heel after SummerSlam. Who that is right now, I don't know. But Brock Lesnar's exit after SummerSlam, for the time being, it is reported that he does want to work with the WWE and the UFC heading into WrestleMania. He wants to leave WWE right now to get ready for his UFC fight against Daniel Cormier in January or February, depending on when that match is announced. For the UFC World Heavyweight Championship or not, I don't know. But Brock Lesnar's exit, more than likely after SummerSlam, will start a new chapter for the Universal Championship. It is widely assumed that he will drop the title at SummerSlam. Again, don't quote me on this, but WWE have done stranger things in the past. I am not going to sit here and tell you, yes, it's definitely going to happen, because the last time we said that, it didn't happen. So I would not be too quick to judge WWE taking the title off of Brock Lesnar. They may think that there is more money in Lesnar holding the championship than him losing it. It is widely assumed that he will drop the title at SummerSlam or on Raw the next night and then start training for his fight with Daniel Cormier in UFC. Now, if you guys listened to the opening of the show, which I hope you did, I would have Lesnar beat Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. I would have Lesnar beat Reigns. I would have the pay-per-view go off the air with Brock Lesnar overcoming the odds, okay? Heyman is not there. I wouldn't say Lesnar overcoming the odds, but I would have Lesnar just, do the same thing that he did with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania and the Greatest Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns has done nothing up until this point to prove to me and everybody that he could beat Brock Lesnar. All because your name is Roman Reigns, you got the machine behind you, doesn't mean that you're going to beat Brock Lesnar. And then Paul Heyman said, this is the most violent Brock Lesnar that he's ever seen. What has Reigns done to show me he's prepared? I'm going to be the Universal Champion. I'm going to be the champion that everybody needs for this show. I'm going to defend the title week in and week out. Sure you are. Bullshit. I would have Lesnar beat Reigns at SummerSlam. I would have Strowman cash in on Lesnar on Monday Night Raw. That's where the money's going to be. WWE don't give a fuck about these pay-per-views. Just look at this card and the build for SummerSlam. You think WWE cares about SummerSlam? Then they're thinking about putting the match on last. What's going to happen? It's going to be a fucking colossal failure waiting to happen, as always. You're going to have people watch SummerSlam for 4.5 hours, 5 hours, and then you're going to give them Lesnar and Reigns in the main event. That's the last thing that you're going to show these people after a 5-hour, dismal, fucking unenergetic, stale, formulaic, boring show. That's the last thing you're going to give these people. What do you expect these people are going to do, say, and react? How do you think they're going to react? They're going to give you the same reaction, if not worse, because it's New York City, and I don't expect anything less. It's going to be far worse than what we've seen at WrestleMania. But this is WWE. This is what they built up towards failure. Dave Meltzer noted in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter about the Raw lineups of the fall. The lineups revealed that they plan on Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman to headline live events. Usually when those things are announced, those live event main events are what we will see on television. And those matchups happen at house shows to get ready for what's going to happen on live television, for those guys to get familiar with one another again, plan out something away from television, and then when they get to television, we see it materialize. Those things are used as practice, quote unquote. Not really practice, but practice for live television. It's possible that they would keep these matches as babyface versus babyface, but WWE doesn't like to do those types of feuds too much, especially if it's a long-term feud. Braun Strowman is over as a big-time babyface, but I suppose they could turn him heel again. That's according to Meltzer. I don't think that would be... It's not going to work out that way. It's not going to work out that way. You see, everybody goes into this thinking they know, what's going to happen. I could tell you what's going to happen. Strowman, if he goes into this as a heel, and they push him as a heel, or they have Strowman do something heel-like, and he ends up being portrayed as a heel. If they put him against Roman Reigns, he's just going to go right back to being babyface. Because everybody that goes one-on-one with Roman Reigns is going to be a babyface. Because that's how much people hate Roman Reigns. Now, if WWE portrayed Roman Reigns as a fucking heel, then none of this would happen. There wouldn't be a need to turn Braun Strowman into a heel. Braun Strowman could get the reaction that he's going to get, whether he's a babyface or a heel. At least it would be natural. Roman Reigns would be getting natural heel heat. People hate him. Give them a reason to hate him. He's being hated for the wrong reasons right now. He's miscast. How many times do I have to fucking explain it to you until you get it through your skulls? Everybody thinks I'm a fucking negative asshole. There would be no difference between Roman heel and Roman babyface. I don't give a fuck what The Miz says. I don't give a fuck what Austin says. I don't give a fuck what Jericho says. I don't give a fuck what Jim Ross says. I don't give a shit what LeBar says. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It wouldn't be a difference. Merchandise wouldn't suffer. But Monday Night Raw would greatly increase in quality of programming. Mark my words. And if it's something that doesn't end up happening, I would say, listen, I was wrong. Nothing wrong in admitting you're wrong. But Roman Reigns is being miscast. We all know that. Why would you turn Braun Strowman heel after all the work you've done to portray him and picture him as a babyface? Look at what he's doing now. You mean you're going to put Braun Strowman through all of this to eventually turn him into a bad guy? Are you out of your fucking minds? After everything that he's done and everything he's destroyed, all the t-shirts you made, Monster in the Bank, Get These Hands, people chanting, Raw, Braun, right, when he comes out. Chanting, Get These Hands, Get These Hands. You're going to take that all away from everybody. You're going to take that away from Braun Strowman. You're going to make him a heel, right? What sense does that make? Or are you going to turn Roman Reigns heel? The guy who needs to be heel. The guy who should have been heel years ago. Now, this is what their idea is. Braun Strowman is over as a big-time babyface. Meltzer says, I suppose they could turn him heel. Reigns would probably get booed out of the building in Brooklyn, but Vince McMahon has always seen him as a top babyface. However, as seen in the unaired Paul Heyman clip that was posted on YouTube, and I played for you guys in the beginning of this show, they certainly are teasing the idea of Reigns' heel turn with Heyman as his manager. Heyman has said in the past that he is a huge fan of Reigns. WWE is not blatantly going to do something like that in front of everybody, as blatant as can be, like that, and then go around SummerSlam and come into SummerSlam in New York City and then execute it. They're not going to do that. That's not the way WWE operates. Lesnar's status is not set in stone, although most assume that he will go to UFC, so keep in mind that he has had offers from the UFC in the past, but then opted to stay with the WWE. If Vince McMahon gives him an offer he can't refuse, he could always back out of the fight with Cormier. That's not going to happen. He's already entered the USADA pool. Lesnar is already looking slimmer, and he is getting clean, supposedly, from what I hear. In fact, Cormier said on this past weekend that he, if the fight with Lesnar does not happen, that he would happy to fight Stipe Miocic again in a rematch and give him a rematch for the world title. A heel turn from Braun Strowman does not make sense, people. I don't know what else to tell you, but WWE is planning to turn somebody heel after SummerSlam. Who that is right now, I don't know. It would be a mistake to turn Braun Strowman heel, and it would be a mistake to not turn Roman Reigns into a heel. I'm sticking to my guns. I think the absolute best booking scenario here is to let Lesnar walk out of SummerSlam with the championship. This is doomed to fail anyway, so you might as well just go and walk the distance with it. You might as well go all the way with it. Lesnar retains, he walks out of Barclays on Sunday night with the championship. You have him drop it to Braun Strowman in a cash-in on Monday night. I think the cash-in would be a lot better on Monday than it would be on Sunday. Everybody's going to be anticipating it on Sunday. But if it happens on Monday, where I'm sure Lesnar's going to get even more heat, and have Braun Strowman come out, that's going to make Braun Strowman look that much more of a babyface, and then Roman Reigns in the distance, sulking over his loss. What does he do? Management's held me down again. Blah, 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 blah. Cry me a river, Roman Reigns. It's going to be Roman Justin Timberlake Reigns. Cry me a river, right? There you go. Then he enlists help, and boom. You got your fucking heel versus babyface matchup. You got a new Roman Empire set up. I don't need to explain it to you anymore. Braun Strowman as a heel is not going to work. Anybody in a heel role against Roman Reigns is not going to work. The only thing to do to change the narrative of what the fans want is to send Roman out there and portray him as a heel. Done. I don't need to repeat myself anymore, though I'm sure I will, and people still will not get why I want Roman Reigns as a heel. They'll just ask, why? JD is the biggest Roman Reigns fan. Oh, Roman Reigns every fucking week. Suck my cock. How do you like that one? It's the biggest story of the week. If you can find a bigger story for me, then please let me know and email me. And no, I'm not talking about CM Punk suing Colt Cabana. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, moving on here. I want to talk about this. This is something that I got into an argument with, or argument over, rather, with fucking illogical goon-like clowns. People feel like there is no competition for WWE. It might not be to the level of WCW, but you are an illogical fucking clown if you think that WWE does not have competition. If WWE didn't have competition, then they wouldn't put all their resources into signing Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Just throwing that out there. WWE wouldn't be scared of what's going on right now if they weren't interested in Rey Mysterio. They weren't interested in pulling Rey Mysterio from All In. They weren't interested in signing Matt Riddle. They weren't interested in signing fucking Phoenix and Pentagon Jr., and I fucking shiver with fucking fright at the thought of that. WWE certainly does have competition. G1 Supercard, WrestleMania weekend, is a sold-out show. I know people that are going there over NXT because it's a once in a lifetime thing. It's the first time it's happening. They want to be a part of history. God bless them. God bless them. But to outwardly say that WWE does not have competition is a fucking idiotic statement. People were arguing with me that if this wasn't WrestleMania weekend, that this show wouldn't be a sellout. And I argue that statement very heavily. This show, if it was WrestleMania weekend or not, would have been a sold-out show. You know, I don't know why people are going into this, underwhelming New Japan and their drawing power. New Japan is the hottest it's ever been. People are selling. New Japan is selling out these 6,000 seat venues in minutes. You put them in a major market like New York City with names who are just as popular as anybody on the WWE roster in Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, the Elite. Of course they're going to sell out. Why wouldn't they sell out? Why would you ever doubt these fucking people? They sold out All In 29 minutes in Chicago. All In is sold out with nothing going up against it. So you think that G1, Supercard, New Japan, and Ring of Honor going into Madison Square Garden wouldn't sell out if it wasn't on WrestleMania weekend? What are you, fucking stupid? Why would you think that? Of course this would have been a sold-out show. It's the first time ever. Of course they're threatened. WWE is threatened by New Japan. Ring of Honor has already stated, after the sold-out show, after the announcement of All In, of not only All In, but the G1 Supercard, they're doing their biggest business to date. WWE is trying to hijack G1 Supercard. Sold out. It's a sold-out show with or without WrestleMania. Vince McMahon, according to sources, isn't taking competition between he and Ring of Honor New Japan to an extent like it was with WCW. But he wants to poach Omega and the Young Bucks and weaken Ring of Honor New Japan's event at Madison Square Garden. If he wasn't afraid, if he didn't feel like there was competition, he wouldn't put all his eggs into this financial basket to get these guys into WWE. With all their contracts expiring at the end of the year, it's possible that WWE could completely hijack G1 Supercard. Ring of Honor actually responded to this. Following news that A, sold out Madison Square Garden, and following this news that they want WWE, want Omega and the Young Bucks, Ring of Honor General Manager Greg Gilliland explained how his promotion will react to WWE and what they are going to do to keep Omega and the Young Bucks in their company. They're our top guys, right? Of course we're going to do everything we can to keep them, he told CBS. We have fair offers and fair plans to retain them. With that said, I don't think we ever operate in fear. If they go to WWE, and they very much deserve that opportunity, we'll continue to offer the best wrestling that we possibly can. Am I going to make an aggressive attempt to retain them and sign longer-term contract agreements? Of course we are. But at the end of the day, the Ring of Honor brand is about the Ring of Honor experience, and that's how we will continue to grow. Of course, it's not certain, end quote, by the way. Of course, it's not certain that WWE will actually move for Omega and the Young Bucks. But given how ruthless McMahon has been in his life when it comes to pro wrestling, and being that they stepped on his toes with getting into Madison Square Garden and selling the fucking show out, which is easily 18,000 seats, 19,000 seats at max for Madison Square Garden. Of course he's going to go after them. You know, this is the wrestling business. McMahon doesn't want anybody coming into his world. Don't be surprised if we see them in WWE. Because money talks. Do the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega need the WWE? No. They don't need anything from WWE. They don't need anything WWE has to offer. But what they do want is WrestleMania. As a professional wrestler, you want WrestleMania on your resume. You want headlining WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. You want main event WrestleMania on your resume. Will the Young Bucks thrive in WWE? No, I think they would be fucking killed. If you're a tag team, if you are the Young Bucks, why would you think about going to WWE? Unless they are going to be the sole reason why you revitalize tag team wrestling. You build it around them. They are young enough and still have a life of wrestling ahead of them. That's what you do. You're not going to bring the Young Bucks and you're not going to give me tag team wrestling. You bring the Young Bucks in, you better make fucking tag team wrestling a top fucking priority. And I mean Roman Reigns level priority. You're not going to bring Kenny Omega in and you're going to fucking waste him away. Yeah, they've treated AJ Styles okay. They could be doing better by AJ Styles, but coming into the WWE means more work. Coming into the WWE means more touring. It may bring them closer to their families instead of living and working in Japan, away from their families, you know. Travel, I don't know. All of this is going to be taken into consideration. But Ring of Honor, clearly, Ring of Honor execs, higher-ups, are going to be as ruthless as McMahon to keep these guys. These guys are set to make the most money in the history of this business. Because there right now is a serious shift in what is going on with the WWE. There is a serious disconnect between WWE and what people want. If WWE continues to do what they do on Monday night, WWE, I don't give a fuck how much money they're making. People are going to leave the company, not only employed with the company, leave to go elsewhere. But fans are going to seek an alternative. And if New Japan continues to prioritize the United States and get their feet wet in the United States, there's no doubt in my mind that if these guys stay with New Japan and a Daniel Bryan goes over to work New Japan and we get a Shinsuke Nakamura going back to New Japan and a club to go back to New Japan, with the way things are going in New Japan right now, it's going to be a more attractive offer for anybody to leave WWE. And if you put New Japan on Monday nights, there's no doubt in my mind that competition will be had in the United States with WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling. No doubt in my mind. But for people to say New Japan wouldn't sell out Madison Square Garden, or they only sold it out because it's WrestleMania weekend, we're fucking 9 months away from WrestleMania. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing tomorrow. Do you know what you're doing 9 months from now? I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing for Chicago, and I'm going to be there for a fucking week. And that's in 3 weeks. You know what you're going to do 9 months ahead. People have made this thing a destination. It's not just because of WrestleMania. WrestleMania is fucking shit every year. If this is going to make their weekend, then people are going to go there instead of going to WrestleMania. What are you going to get at WrestleMania? The same shit we've got in the last 4 years. Garbage. Every fucking year, WrestleMania gets worse and worse. There's no doubt in my mind they sold this shit out because that's how hot they are. I don't even watch the fucking promotion. I hear and see and just feel everything going around. WWE's in trouble. Quality-wise. Financially, they're fine. But quality-wise, you better start fucking doing what the fans want. You better start doing what the fucking wrestling industry is doing right now. NXT's doing it. Why aren't we seeing it on Monday nights? No, but I gotta see Shanti, and I gotta see fucking a bullshit agenda forced upon us with no fucking genuine feel whatsoever. Fuck out of here, man. That show would have been sold out with or without WrestleMania weekend. No questions asked. Moving on here, man. Chris Jericho, IWGP Intercontinental Champion. Jericho ain't going to be at Madison Square Garden. Jericho ain't wrestling for New Japan. He ain't wrestling on G1 Supercard. Not unless Vince McMahon is somehow on his shit list. He's not going to disrespect Vince McMahon. People talking about it, Wrestle Talk's talking about it, What Culture's talking about it, everybody else is talking about it. Chris Jericho might be headed to Impact Wrestling. No, he's not. No, he's not. He ain't doing anything in the United States with another promotion. You know, Jericho single-handedly put in a recommendation to Anthem Sports to get Don Callis in as the head of just the entire fucking company. So now Don Callis is there. Don Callis is good friends with Chris Jericho. Seems like sense that they would work together, but Jericho has already said that he would not work in the United States for another promotion. You can do whatever you do over in Japan. As long as it's in the United States, you are WWE home. Jericho apparently, is rumored to be headed towards Impact Wrestling. Because Impact Wrestling is going to be going against Ring of Honor on his cruise come October. Never say never in the wrestling industry. That applies to Chris Jericho's status with Impact Wrestling. Just a few months ago, Jericho said that he would not work for any other company in the United States because he didn't want to compete against Vince McMahon and the WWE. It's the same reason why he didn't work New Japan Pro Wrestling shows in California. However, he softened his stance, as many of you saw on his Twitter timeline recently, that he's hinted that he would be open to working with Impact Wrestling. Keep in mind that he's good friends with Don Callis and Scott D'Amore, who are in charge, and Jericho is in regular contact with Don Callis. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was noted that nobody is saying anything, but the belief within the business is that Jericho is destined to work with Impact Wrestling. Austin Aries keeps running through everybody in Impact Wrestling. I don't see anybody lining up to fight Austin Aries for the Impact World title. Why don't we do Jericho versus Austin Aries at Bound for Glory in New York City? That's the only thing that I could see happening. If that doesn't happen, then it ain't happening. Austin Aries wants to go around and say that he's the belt collector. Wants to go around and say that he's the best in the world. Then prove it. Then prove it. Jericho, I'm sure, would show up with the IWGP title, Impact Championship, boom, champion versus champion. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer, it was noted that nobody is saying anything, but the belief is that Jericho is destined to be an Impact. It was Jericho who told Anthem CEO Leonard Asper that he should hire Callis and put him with D'Amore in charge of the company because the previous owners were running a sinking ship. It should be noted that there already is a working relationship with Jericho and Impact. Several Impact stars are booked for his cruise in October, including Sami Callihan, Brian Cage, and LAX. Impact is featured prominently on the Jericho Cruise website. I don't think it's going to happen. I honestly don't think it's going to happen, but again, never say never in this world of professional wrestling. Moving on, Jason Jordan, is expected to stay off television because, according to sources and according to reports, his injury is worse than anybody had else reported. As we roll towards SummerSlam, there have been plenty of rumors suggesting that a couple of top WWE stars are close to returning from injury. The first, of course, was Dean Ambrose, who I reported on this week's Off the Script Extra that he will not be at SummerSlam, that they may save him for a couple of weeks following SummerSlam. Now, he's been out since December with a triceps injury. Thankfully, Ambrose is very close to returning, and it's suggested that he could play some part in the feud between Rollins and Ziggler. That's great news for Ambrose fans and great news for Ambrose. But Jason Jordan, who was injured in February, has been out at least 6 months recovering from a neck injury. As early as June, many outlets reporting that WWE was preparing for his imminent return. But it's now August, and Jordan is nowhere to be found. According to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, there is a reason for that. Mike Johnson of PW Insider reported that there was no creative plans for Jason Jordan and that they planned on having him form American Alpha again with Chad Gable. Now Meltzer is reporting that Jordan's injury is much worse than expected and that he won't be returning any time soon. This news is very disappointing, especially considering many fans thought that he'd be back on TV by now. In fact, there was talk, like I said, of an interesting storyline that would reunite Jordan with his former partner Gable, reforming American Alpha, having a vital role in the tag team incarnation, I'd say, on Monday Night Raw. Now, that doesn't appear to be happening, at least for some time. After missing half of 2018, it's unclear whether Jordan will fit on Monday nights now anyway. He was involved in a storyline with main eventers like Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, and on top of that, Kurt Angle's on-screen son. The landscape of Raw has changed so much in many months that Jordan has been sidelined, so it's hard to tell where he's going to fit upon his return. But WWE have plenty of time to work that out, considering that it's still quite a ways off. This is sad news if it is true, man. I was really excited to see Jordan and Gable back together. You talk about tag team wrestling. If WWE is set to bring in the Young Bucks, you want the tag team division as best as it could be. You want competition just coming out of all ends. And American Alpha being back on Monday Night Raw with the Revival and Authors of Pain, that would have been great. You had Ziggler and McIntyre, Rollins and Ambrose. Right there, that's a tag team division right there. You want to add the B team, you want to add Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. There's a division right there that could be worked with. Now that Jordan is not coming back, and Gable still has nothing to do, one of the most underutilized guys on Monday Night Raw, it sucks. It sucks. This is not good. And the longer he's out, the more I don't think he's ever coming back. This is like an Edge-like situation. We've heard that he's coming back. It's going to be 2-3 months. He's going to be back. Then it was like, we have no creative plans for him, but, we're still taking our precautions with him. Still not back yet. Now it's worse than anybody feared. Which one is it? It's either this guy is really fucking hurt and is never coming back, or this is just a fucking decoy because WWE is realizing, oh, look at all these creative plans coming around for Jason Jordan. We want to keep it a secret. I don't know what they're planning right now. I hope it's not the worst case scenario and this guy doesn't come back and is out all year. Jordan is a great wrestler. Putting him with Gable would have been fantastic for this division. I hope it's not one of these cases where he's going to be out the rest of the year and his return is going to be seriously in question. That would suck for someone with his fucking skill set and how much potential he has. It's not out of the realm of possibility that this is a fucking decoy and WWE's feeding fake news to people. It wouldn't be the first time they did that. But with an injury like this, if he hasn't been back now, it must be that serious. So I'm leaning towards this being Jordan really, really being injured and WWE really playing it safe on bringing him back. I don't know what else I could go over for you guys, man. There really is not much news. There really is not much news as far as news and rumors. Because if I give you everything I got in episode 1 here, or part 1, episode 234, I'm not going to have anything for the rest of the weekend. And I want to give you guys, repeated uploads on Saturday and Sunday. So I may save whatever else I have for the remainder of the shows, because there really isn't anything right now as far as news and rumors. But there is CM Punk's story with Colt Cabana. There is Ricochet being hurt, apparently, but he's still going to make TakeOver. But he is hurt, nagging injuries on that front. I got a Matt Hardy health update. I got John Cena having a match announced at the Australian Super Show in October. And I got a major injury coming out of the Mae Young Classic. So we may save all that stuff for tomorrow. And I don't want to dive too much into it because I'm already 47 minutes in with the beginning and another 40 minutes here. So I think you guys are good at 1 hour and 20, 30 minutes or so. I don't want to make it close to 2 hours. So I may end it right here. But if you guys enjoyed the episode, please make sure to hit that thumbs up. Make sure you guys check out everything that you need as far as supporting the show. High Intensity 7 with Jason Solomon, Monster, August 17th, Friday. Get your tickets, HOGWrestling.net. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript for your summer scam t-shirts. Harry's. Make sure you guys get Harry's. I need Harry's. I may use Harry's tonight because I need a shave. And there's no better utensil in my medicine cabinet than fucking Harry's. Harry's.com/script for your free trial shave set. Please make sure you guys do that. Great way to support the show. And Audible. Audibletrial.com/offthescript for your free audio book. Thank you guys so much for everything. Black Ops 4 Beta is this weekend, back for round 2. I'll be live streaming it whenever I can. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitch. JD from New York. New York is spelled out. It's not the abbreviation NY. It's JD from New York. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitch. It is down in the description, down below. And please, if you guys want to support the podcast, patreon.com/JD from NY206. Hope you enjoyed the show. This is episode 234, part number 1. I will be back on Saturday with more news and rumors. Until then, take care, enjoy your Fridays, and I'll see you right back here on part 2 for this weekend's Off the Script. I'll talk to you later.
You know, it seems like an eternity that the House of Glory officials and Austin Aries have been trying to get on the same page to make this happen, and now the time is here. August 17th, it's going down. But as part of the deal, I get to call my own shots. I get to make the matchup. And now about 2 weeks out, the House of Glory officials are sweating. They want to know, Austin Aries, what's your match? Well, here's what we're going to do. I'm all about doing things that have never been done before. I'm all about creating opportunity. The Impact World title will be defended. Against who, you ask? Anybody who wants to step in the ring with me. It's an open challenge. House of Glory, bring your best. Anybody in the New York area, step on in the ring. The invitation's open. Austin Aries, the Impact World title. House of Glory ring, August 17th. Who's gonna step up and answer the challenge?